Sit on my left side. And team 4. Are you team 4? Okay, you can sit here. Okay, good morning everyone. My name is Gwen and I will be your referee for your match right now. And I will explain to you the rules again that we're going to have 2 rounds. Each round has 2 sessions, a presentation and a debate. For the presentation, you will have 3 minutes to present it and the debate session will last for 6 minutes with 30 seconds to ask the question and then 1 minute to answer it. And no devices on the desk, and I will toss the coin to see who goes first. Okay, head or tail? Okay, your head and your tail. Yeah. It's a tail. So you can choose, you want to go first or second?
First.
Okay, first. So team 12 is going to present first, operator. Team 12. Is this your slide, correct?
There's no different slide. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Do you want to check it first until the end? Can you check first? Okay. Set the timer for 3 minutes. Okay, you can start now.
Okay, thank you for the time. My name is Juniza and my partner is Zainur. We want to present the potential compounds of Pediria foetida LS anti-cancer agents against prostate cancer through comprehensive in silico studies. Pediria foetida maybe you can always heard as kentutan leaves. Okay, it's almost 400,000 people died because of prostate cancer in 2022, and as you see in the picture, there is a kentutan leaves that usually used as ethnomedicine in Saya culture. But there's an in vitro research to prostate cancer to the cell line PC3 and DU145, and the specific compounds have anti-cancer remain unclear. So we aims to investigate the anti-cancer compound from P. foetida against prostate cancer through in silico next. The method we use the 6 machine learning to train the P. foetida, and we want to search the P. foetida compounds from the database, and we filtered with pass and admit, so we will get the active compound that we will dock with protein PARP1.
Next step. Yeah. Based on that, we found that there are 6 machine learning that we can develop, and the higher accuracy compared to other is SVM model, and we try to apply that model to our data set compounds of Pediria foetida, and we found that 54 compounds out of 59, which is like 90% of the compounds have anti-cancer properties. Next. And then 54 compounds, we try to filter it using a pass online, and we got 25 compounds were predicted to have anti-cancer related activity, particularly in apoptotic activity, and we try to filter it again to 6 compounds with optimum lipin schedules all 5 using a Swiss-Army rule. Next slide. Yeah. The 6 compounds are docked into the PARP1 protein, which is the PARP1 is a protein that responsible for DNA repair and resulting to apoptotic activity, and is quite known for prostate cancer. And we found that licarin A is the lowest it should be lower binding affinity compared to other compounds. And as you can see on the right side, there are several amino acids that dock, which means that it can mimic the ligand and the drugs that mimics licarin A to the current drugs, and it can show predictively to inhibit PARP1 in the DNA repair to resulting apoptotic activity. Next slide. Yeah, based on that, our current in silico study, we found that 6 out of 59 compounds have a potential anti-cancer prostate properties. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, team 12. Now we're going to move to our debate session. with the 6 minutes. Okay, you're gonna have 30 seconds to ask the question and then 1 minute to answer it. 6 minutes timer ready? Okay, you can start now.
Okay. Since you are using the in silico, docking, machine learning, so both of them is only predictive. So what? There is no validation of it by using the two of these, and there is no evidence of trials in human. So based on your background, you cited the two reference. One is using in vitro, one is
Okay, stop.
Okay, so thank you. In terms of validation, we actually don't use the blind docking. So we try to find, first we try to find the protein that very responsible for prostate cancer, which is the PARP1 protein. And that protein is already used by a lot of FDA drugs, which means it's already validated. And second of all, our study showed some compounds, and we compared to another study that using the same in silico method. And it's also shown the same result, which means, for example, the study by Blanco 2024, it showed it's quite similar result. So it means that our study is reproducible. And other than that, we also think that in vitro study also using the same compounds have the same mechanism using the apoptotic mechanism.
Okay, what we mean here by validation is external validation. So you haven't done external validation, so nothing downstream can be valid in your research because there is no human, which component of the pipeline is actually supported by experimental prostate cancer data rather than another computational prediction, rather than in silico research.
Yeah, that's we aware because we're using in silico methods, so we don't have resources to do some in vitro methods. But as we mentioned before, we use a lot of validation at first, so we filter it at first. We don't like do a blind in silico method which is unvalidated. But in this condition, we use a lot of resources at first to filter it. So although it's still predictive, but we filter it in a very long way, so we still can, so at the very least, you still can focus on that 6 compounds and you can use for in vitro research in the further studies.
What you say is still internal validation, not external validation, because at the end of the day, you want to know compound from Pediatria foetida is potential as anti-cancer, should be compared to real prostate cancer data. And since your target is PARP1, it makes more sense to compare your compounds with olaparib, not enzalutamide, because it's clinically validated PARP inhibitor, not targets, enzalutamide targets androgen receptor. So it's not true, it's not relevant to choose.
Okay, so in terms of positive control, so this enzalutamide also a target for PARP control because we use the database of PARP1 that the native ligands is enzalutamide. So it's already in the database that we use. So in terms of the FDA approved that I mentioned before, we agree that at some point there's a lot of drugs that have the similar features, but in this study we focus on this type of protein because it's already used by the previous study in terms of in vitro studies.
But still, olaparib is more validated to PARP inhibitor, not enzalutamide, that targets androgen receptor. So since in silico screening is relatively inexpensive, why you focus only on Pediatria foetida instead of screening plants with stronger anti-cancer evidence, such as taxane product species? I mean, broader your search, you just focus on Pediatria foetida. It is inexpensive experiment, yeah, right?
Yeah, we're aware that it's inexpensive, but if we just use a lot of plants, I don't think we have a focus research anymore. We want to focus on these plants because first, as we mentioned before, there is some evidence by ethnomedicine, so we want to bring that idea that actually our herbal medicine also can help us to apprehend the cancer outbreak situation. And other than that, we think that if we really broader our research, we have a lot of bias in that. Which plants that we use. there's a lot of bias in terms of the selection of our samples. So that's why we only focus on one plants.
I mean, you should choose stronger compounds that potentially have a compound that anti-cancer. But if I were designing this study from the beginning, I would start a totally different thing like what you do. First, I will validating the pipeline first, and then choosing the most reliable predictive model, screen a much broader range of plants, not only Pederia foetida, and add more filtering steps to reduce false positive. I think that approach will give stronger and more convincing results than what you have done this.
Yeah, I think you're misunderstanding about our aim. So that's not our aim. Our aim is want to find the compounds of previously in vitro proven base. So if we try to broader, we neglect our main research questions.
So in vitro studies is more in higher level than in silico study. Why you choose to redo the in vitro to down lower that?
Time's up. Do you get the point yet? Do you want to answer?
I think we can.
Okay. You have 1 minute.
Yeah, I think we not redo it. We want to redirection it. First, they don't understand what type of compounds that responsible for the anti-cancer. And our research want to reveal that, even though perhaps you say it's not validated, that's the reason we say it's predictively. We don't say that it's validated. We want to redirection predictively which type of compounds that have this particular prostate cancer activity. That's all.
Okay, that's all for the first debate session. We're gonna take a 1 minute break, but please no discussion and no talking. 1 minute timer on the screen. Okay. Okay. Breaks over. We're gonna move on to our second round, which team 4 is gonna present the presentation. Is this your slide, correct? Okay, you wanna check? Please check till the end.
Previous slide, please.
Previous. Back.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, you wanna start? Okay, please set the timer for 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes to present. Okay, you can start now.
Okay, so maternal undernutrition remains a major challenge in low middle income countries, and it contributes to poor fetal growth and adverse birth outcomes. To address this, the World Health Organization recommends balanced energy protein or BEP supplementation for undernourished pregnant women. While previous studies have shown that BEP supplementation improves maternal and fetal growth outcomes, but however, an important questions remain unclear. That is, does the timing of supplementation influence infant anthropometric outcomes? Next, so to answer this question, we conducted systematic review and meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials evaluating BEP supplementation during preconception, pregnancy, and postpartum period. We search from PubMed, Scopus, and Cochrane database through December 2024. Next, 29 from 2021 RCT were included. The studies were grouped according when supplementation was initiated. It is before conception of during early trimester of pregnancy, during late pregnancy, or during postpartum period. Next, overall, BEP supplementation improved infant anthropometric outcomes, but the magnitude of the benefits is different according to the timing. For birth length, supplementation initiated at preconception, resulting significantly greater improvement than in supplementation in third trimester. For length for SZ score, both preconception and second trimester produce in significantly greater improvement than postnatal supplementation. And for birth weight, larger effects were observed among studies initiating supplementation during third trimester. Next, so different anthropometric outcome responds to different window of nutrition intervention. Earlier supplementation appears more beneficial for a birth weight, but later supplement for length for SZ score, whereas later supplementation may have greater influence on birth weight. In conclusion, our review highlights the question is not only whether BEP supplementation works, but also when it should be provided. And understanding the timing of supplementation may help improve future maternal nutrition program and maximize the benefit for the infant. Thank you.
You still have like 20 seconds. You want to finish now? Okay, moving on to the debate session. We have 6 minutes to do the debate, 30 seconds to ask the question, and then 1 minute to answer it. 6-minute timers, ready? Okay, you can start now.
Yeah, in terms of your aims, your aim try to find the timing, right? And your conclusion mentioned that it's timing and duration. In your result, there's only timing. There's inconsistent in there.
Yeah, so what I mean by duration here is when should BEP supplementation provided, initiated? It is before conception or during early pregnancy or late pregnancy. So it is just when BEP supplementation should be initiated. So it is different. We observe different outcomes in anthropometric infant that from this different window of nutritional intervention, right? So our results have also show greater improvement in length and LAZ score if we give the intervention earlier.
Okay, so I think you have a great misunderstanding there. Duration means that 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 1 year, over time. If you say that prenatal, postnatal, it's the timing. Yes, you answered that in your study, but the duration, you miss that. And that's a very big misconception that you bring to your study.
So I want to make it clear that our objective is to show the different outcomes between between the time initiating of BEP supplementation, right? So we just want to know that that BEP supplementation giving at different time can give different outcome, right? So that's what we want to answer.
Yeah, but in your conclusion, it's different. You mentioned the duration.
Okay, as we saw in your poster and your presentation, also in your manuscript, we found that there's different included studies in your between the poster in the presentation, and also in your abstract of your poster, you said that it included 21. In the result, you said you write 29, but in your manuscript and your presentation, you write 20. So there's inconsistency, and maybe
Okay,
there's
stop.
very biased data.
Yeah, maybe you don't understand what we do here, right? We included 29 articles from 21 RCT. So one RCT can have multiple arms, right? So that multiple arms can be produced because we subgroup the data by the time initiating of BEP supplementation. So one single RCT can have multiple articles produced. So maybe it's only preconception in that articles, or maybe that's have preconception and in pregnancy. So we split the data by based on timing of supplementation, initiating supplementation. Yeah, right.
Okay, but we already read your manuscript that, as you said before, the articles included in 29, right? But in your article, I saw the table, it's only 20. And there's one article that you mentioned, it's in 2 times. So what's your opinion?
Okay. Oh, actually, for that you state that there is a 2 double manuscript in the table. There is a 2 name. Okay, it is a different research actually, because the study 1 and study 2 maybe it is the same name, but it's also different research.
Actually, the years and the target, it's also the same.
Yeah, it's correctly. It's same, but the outcome they presented, reported in the research publication, it's different. So that's why actually the DOI, it's different. You can look it forward, maybe.
So we want to talk about the parameter next. So you have different type of parameter to determine your result, right? First is birth weight, birth length, and LAZ. But in that situation, you have different timing. It's not justifiable. You have like in birth weight, there's a TM3, trimester 3. But in in LAZ, you don't have TMT and postnatal.
So the outcome is birth length and birth weight, birth length and birth weight. So for a postnatal study, we don't have birth length and birth weight because they cannot measure the effect that we want to observe by only seeing the birth weight and birth length. We should see the at the 6 months of age, right? So we use length for age Z-score at 6 months of the baby age for postnatal study. So it is, I believe it is can justify the effect that we want to see in postnatal study. But for pregnancy and preconception study, we look the outcome at birth weight. But for the length for age Z-score, we can compare at the 6 month and also at the birth, because length for age Z-score is a standardized outcomes. So we can compare at 6 months and birth, at birth.
Okay, time's up. Okay, that's it for our match right now. Judges, is this the final scoring? Okay, as you can see that Team 12 has a total score of 6 and Team 4 has a total score of 9. So congratulations to Team 4. You won this match, and now we're gonna hear some feedbacks from the judges.
Thank you. Congrats for D4. I think during the match, you show very good attacking. I think many questions were spot on, especially the Olaparib. That shows that you really study your opponent. Right? And for the D12, I think your performance today not quite okay like yesterday, because yesterday your attacking was really good. I was surprised why you don't attack, because many questions from both of you were redundant. I think, for example, you keep talking about Olaparib, and the D12 keep talking about the length and the study. Because if you keep asking the similar question, probably you lose the time and you lose the point. I think you may see next round. You may study your opponent better. Okay, so you may attack their study. You may say, "Oh, you did this wrong. You're supposed to do this," like that. Okay, I think that's all for me, and good luck for the next round. Thank you.
Thank you so much, judges, and congratulations again for you. Are you team 3? Oh no. 120. And team 3. Okay, team 120 can sit on my left side, and then team 3 can sit on my right side. Okay, 120 and 3. My name is Gwen and I will be your referee for your match right now, and I will explain to you the rules again, that we will have 2 rounds and each round has 2 sessions, a presentation and a debate. For the presentation you will have 3 minutes to present it, and the debate will last for 6 minutes with a 30 seconds to ask the question and then 1 minute to answer it, and then we're going to take a break for 1 minute before we get to the second round. And now I'm going to toss the coin to see who goes first. Hat or tail? Tail? Hat? It's a tail. So you can choose whether you want to go first or second. Okay, so team 3 is going to present first. Okay, is this your slide, correct? Go to the next. Okay, you will have 3 minutes and you can start. Oh, the timer's ready? Okay, you can start now.
Okay, hello everyone. Let us present our study. Next. Okay, imagine this is Andy. Andy just enrolled in a university in Banten. He born with HIV, right? And his peers doesn't know it yet. He thinks a lot about this disease, how he acceptance by his peers or not. That's why they think a lot about how the peers know about HIV, how they feel about people like him, and how they get information that they can trust. Next. Okay, Banten has 76%, one of 11 provinces that carry Indonesian HIV burden. So we asked, do first year non-health track student in Banten already know, believe, and where do they get information of HIV from? And this is baseline study before any campus exposure saves them. Next. This study using cross-sectional survey from Hafiz 2020 with 134 first-year undergraduate students, and then we do data collection about information source, HIV knowledge, and HIV attitude, and then we do a statistical analysis, and the study identified knowledge and attitude gaps to inform need assessment for Satgas PPKS to handling of sexual violence.
All right, and here's our result. Specific to this particular university, that's the bound of our study, we see that the students tend to use internet the most, but actually they trust it the least, so only 6.7, not the least, but only 6.7% actually trust the internet, even though it's their primary source. And then most students actually trust healthcare worker the most, but only 6.7% turn to them for accessible information. Next. And then generally we see that knowledge and attitude is quite positive toward, is actually positive toward people living with HIV/AIDS, and there's a significant moderate positive correlation as reflected by this experiments row. But when we look at the subdomain, the attitude subdomain, we can see that stigma scores is the lowest, meaning that they're still displaying the stigma despite the potential social desirability bias in our method using questionnaire. Next. So these findings can inform us on what to prioritize in this assessment and identify gap for possible future intervention. And these are hypotheses for the next confirmatory study. So the next step is a larger, more robust study that will inform Satgas PPKS program design so that students like Andy can feel accepted and supported. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Team 3, for presenting your presentation, and I will move on to the debate. You have 6 minutes. 6 minutes timer ready. Okay, you have 30 seconds to ask the question and 1 minute to answer it. You can start now.
Okay, now I guess for like usually you took example of first year students, right? First year students. Now how do you, and not other years and otherwise, how do you think it's gonna the present whole of Banten if this only is first year university students, and how about other universities, other year?
Yeah, so the scope of our study is only this particular university. That's what our study can do and can claim. And why the first year student? Because we're trying to see like the data before any exposure of university environment where Satgas PPKs already exists, and there might be interventions down the road. If we take the baseline data in another university student, like higher level, then they're already got exposed, and that's not baseline data. What we want to collect is baseline data so that it can inform like what the programming should look like.
Okay, just like you say about, I saw about the knowledge the students about this HIV. It comes from maybe from internet or something. So how you can so sure that this information is not true or something else that can make sure this one is biased. Yeah, the information from the student, because it's the stigmatism.
Okay. Can you clarify it?
About the data, that I saw that the knowledge is quite high. So how you can so sure that the knowledge from where? I think this from internet, right? For example, so this is the internet is quite maybe get biased for the information.
So we're not attesting the association between the source of information with the knowledge score, and the knowledge score itself actually tests the knowledge. So we know, like, we have the key answer. They're stating this is a statement, is it right or wrong? And then they state what they believe, and we already have the answer to that. So we measure it, and then we sum up the scores, and the result is that the knowledge is good. We don't really, like, for that particular instrument, we don't really care about where they get their information from. What we do want to know is whether they know or not. But where they get it from is another instrument trying to measure it, and it's not within the scope of our study.
Okay. So, I'd like to clarify, like, how do you claim that this knowledge that influenced attitude when it could be the other way around? And also, since it's a cross-sectional study, how can you actually prove that?
That's why we just the design that on this part only knowledge and attitude. Okay, and then we also analyze on the subdomain question to find out which attitude subdomain that they're still very low or high, positive or negative attitude.
Yeah, you're right that within the cross-sectional study, it can only test association, but it can say positive, like as if you can see the experiments earlier, significant, positive, moderate correlation. It can test the strength and the positive or negative influence. So that's why what we can conclude from this study is that positive knowledge associates with positive attitude. That's what we can say from this study.
How about the stigma? The stigma can how you the stigma you can over the looking of the overlook or that stigma. I mean, like you are deal about the knowledge and also the attitude. So, and then also the stigma, right? So how to relate it, all of them?
Actually, the stigma question is on the part of the attitude question. So in the subdomain of the attitude question, there is a domain about stigma, which show that people, I mean like the young student that already have a high knowledge, but they know is right or wrong, but they believe that their stigma quite negative about that disease.
Yeah, so the attitude is generally positive. We can see from the correlation and the mean score, but then when we look at the subdomain, the descriptive data can show us that the mean of the subdomains, the stigma subdomain is really low. But there needs to be future study to confirm this.
Yeah, that's why, because the stigma is very sensitive. So that's why how you control that student can giving the, the truth of the acceptable answer.
So like how do you show that they're giving acceptable answer to the stigma-related question when it's a very sensitive information?
Yeah, so the setting of this study is actually during the medical checkup of newly enrolled students. So we can say that within that environment, they tend to, that social desirability bias is even more amplified because they want to look good within the health professional setting. But the fact that even stigma still scores very quite low, the lowest among the other subdomain, is telling us that even when they try to look good, they still score. They still can't hide their stigma toward people living with HIV/AIDS. That actually amplifies the result of our study.
Okay, time's up for our first round. Okay, we're gonna take a break for 1 minute. Okay, but no discussion with your opponent, but you can discuss it with your own teammate. Okay, 1 minute timer. Okay, break's over. We're gonna move to the team 120 to present their presentation. You will have 3 minutes to present it. Is this your slide?
Yes.
You wanna check it first?
Yeah, next.
Okay, check. Okay, 3 minutes timer. Okay, you can start now.
Good morning, everyone. We would like to present about our research title, Oral Contraceptive Use and Dry Socket Following Extraction, and it's a systematic review. Next. So first of all, what is dry socket? Also known as alveolar osteitis, is one of the many different complications of extraction, dental extraction, and is characterized by a partial absence of blood clot from the socket. And about oral contraceptive, they're commonly taken by women worldwide, including Indonesia, and they function by inhibiting ovulation fertilization. And it's noted that the use of oral contraceptive may increase the chances of developing dry socket because of the estrogen in it. However, the studies are inconsistent findings. Next. So the hypothesis of the study is that women taking oral contraceptive have higher risk of developing dry socket following extraction compared to those who do not take them. And the objective of the study is to prove the hypothesis. And this is the method. So we used the PRISMA 2020 guidelines and identified studies in English from 2011 until 2026, so 15 years. And they assessed those issues paper that actually discussed about oral contraceptive and dry socket and how they are exposed to it. And we excluded all non-original papers such as reviews, case report, etc. And from the 155 papers, next. So we identified 816 studies included in this final synthesis, where 13 can be extracted quantitative data. So we use this data from it to produce this forest plot using confidence interval and odds ratio. And we can see that 7 out of seven studies support the hypothesis somewhat, and also the others did not support the hypothesis. However, we can accept some narrative data from all of the studies. Next. So overall, we can see that those who use oral contraceptive may have higher chance of developing dry socket after extraction. However, although not all studies supported the hypothesis, it's not simply vote counting which studies we support which. It's simply we are assessing the evidence from each study, and we use that to conclude that. And also, one of the explanation of this, how come oral contraceptive causes dry socket, is because of the effect of estrogen on fibrinolysis. So estrogen in the pills effect on fibrinolysis, and that mechanism is also described in the papers that are included in the study. However, because of the difference in study design, and it caused the variable findings. And so just to conclude, yes, there might have an association between oral contraceptive and increased occurrence of dry socket. And so because of that, we should assess the patients then before they preoperative assessment before the patients undergo an extraction. We should assess them for whether they take oral contraceptive or they do not.
Okay, time's up. Okay, that's it for the presentation from team 120. Now we're gonna move to the debate. You have 6 minutes to do it and 30 seconds to ask and then 1 minute to answer it. 6 minutes timer. Okay. Yeah, you can start now.
Okay, so your included studies is from 2011 to 2016. Yeah, that's quite a big range, and oral contraceptive trends have changed between those time period. Like the hormones being used, the dose. How did you actually harmonize the type and doses of oral contraceptive across those studies? And if not, then the pooling might show like biologically incomparable, expressions.
Right, that's a genuine concern. However, you must note that this systematic review is entirely, like as with any systematic review, is entirely dependent on what each study provides. And also, these kind of studies are not that common, we can see, because from the 15-year period, although we did identify hundreds of papers from these, we only identified 16 that are actually valuable, have data available enough to be included in the study. And also with that in mind, we cannot pick and choose like which study took what kind of oral contraceptive or what kind of estrogen dose. We cannot do that. That's one of the limitations of the study, and it's already will be stated in the manuscript itself. And yes, that's what it is.
But then you created the pooled, unadjusted estimated pool that you showed there. Why not like create a different, different pooling for different, oral contraceptive type or dose if they're not biologically comparable, across those all those studies?
So you're asking that whether it want to make more tables, more of these plots, did it?
Yeah, separated analysis.
Okay, that cannot be done because each study usually, most of the studies, they include oral contraceptive use as one of the factors of each characteristics of each patient. So we cannot really exclude what type because most of the studies, they do not specify which and which. And if we were to make different comparison, it would be like, for example, 2 studies, 3 studies, 40, they won't be feasible because of that. Now, if you're asking why there's no, so were you asking why is there no pooled estimate, or is that what you're asking?
Yeah, because I mean, even if it's just 2-3 studies, like smaller numbers, they're more heterogeneous in types. Then it's gonna be easier to see the comparison between similar types of biological OC dose or OC types. But then if you pull all of them, they're just too many variations. And another thing that we want to ask is why did you choose to use unadjusted estimated poll and not adjusted estimates?
All right, so you're asking about why don't make those different polls. One thing, we cannot simply make different forest plot just because of that. And also, many of the studies, they did not specify what type of oral contraceptive and exactly, and the dosage also. And also if you ask about why there's make an adjusted ratio. Basically, we actually calculate the odds ratio and the confidence interval from each studies for those who did not provide a confidence interval and odds ratio. So we only took what is actually available. For those who provided them, we included in the forest plot. And for those who did not provide them, we make the 2 times 2 table, and we calculated the confidence interval and the point estimate and odds ratio.
Okay, and then how did the included study controls all important confounders such as smoking, extraction, difficulty from different case, and then oral hygiene and surgical technique?
All right, about that, of course, that's one of them. Like I said, we also are entirely dependent on what studies that we receive. So of course, those who measure the oral contraceptive usage or otherwise will also measure smoking or age or maybe the gender, everything, as one of the confounders. However, we cannot simply exclude them just because they have other confounders. And we actually conclude on association of oral contraceptive with dry socket and not causation. As in we can only suggest that because of the mechanism that might cause dry socket, that's all.
Okay, and then there is only 3 studies that report that a significant association between oral contraceptive use and dry socket. Why do you consider that the overall evidence sufficient to suggest clinical risks?
All right, so about that, like I said, we cannot simply vote counting, like I said just now. We cannot simply vote count how many support, how many doesn't support, and gonna make it as a conclusion. That's not supposed to work. And like I said, 3 of them I can have a clear support to hypothesis. That doesn't mean that the other 4 that give suggestive support are invalid. Simply, it's just because of the variation and maybe the strength of the length of the confidence interval that might have affected how it's interpreted. However, it does not invalidate the data that we got and also the narrative synthesis that we got from the studies. So, yes.
Yeah, actually, it feels like that reflects that the study design itself, the research question itself might not be specific enough to be able to pull like a very similar type of studies. That's one of the thing that I noted. And then I actually want to ask, since you have 3 narrative, studies, how do you bridge between the quantitative studies and the narrative study? What specific method did you use? Because if it's all narrative, we usually...
All right, so simply about the quantitative data, we got it from what we can fill a 2 times 2 table. So to explain about it, it's simply those who take oral contraceptive, those who do not, and those who develop dry socket, and those who do not. So only the studies that mention can calculate all 4 boxes can be included in the quantitative analysis. For those who does not, like for example, they don't mention how many did not mention oral contraceptive basically, if it does not fill one of the boxes, it cannot be included. But it can be included in narrative synthesis because they do explain about it. They do note it in their discussion and they do note some significance. Basically, they do their own calculation. So we only included what can be included from the narrative studies.
Okay, time's up actually. That's it for your match right now. And judges, is this the final scoring? Okay, as you can see on the screen, that team 120 has a total score of 15, and then team 3 has a total score of 18. So congratulations to team 3. You won this match, and now we're gonna hear some feedbacks from the judges.
Okay, Kak Gwen, thank you. And congrats both of you, both of the teams. Especially congrats for the winner. I guess the road is not over, of course. So, yeah, I can see that you guys have come a long way. It's very, very different from yesterday. You guys now, Javanese people would say, you guys more lanya now. But my point, there are 2 points actually that I have observed along the debate is that there were a little bit dragging of one topic, and I think you need to just move on when you don't get the something that you wanted. Instead of pursue it with the whole energy, I think it's better to just move on, except you are certain that they don't know, they won't have the answer, and just, yeah, don't have the answer. And the second point is that, especially with the limited time, I think it is better to just get straight to the point, especially with the for attackers. Yeah, don't drag your what you know or what should be done. Just attack right away. I think that should be all. Thank you, and congrats.
Thank you so much, judges, and congratulations for the winning team.
Bisa istirahat ya?
Selamat bisa istirahat.
Okay, now that everyone's here, team 119, yeah, you can see it on my left side, and team 4, you can see it on my right side. Okay, everyone, my name is Gwen, and I will be your referee for your match right now. So I'm gonna explain it to you the rules again, and we will have 2 rounds. Each round has 2 sessions, a presentation and a debate. For the presentation, you will have like 3 minutes to present it and 6 minutes to do the debate. It's 30 seconds to ask the question and then 1 minute to answer it. And then we're gonna take a 1-minute break before we get to the second round. Okay, everyone understand the rules? I'm gonna toss the coin to see who goes first. Okay, hat or tail? Okay, hat. Okay, you tail. It's a hat, so you can choose whether you want to go first or second. Okay, so team 119 is going to present first. Okay, is this your slide? Okay, you want to check it first until the end? Okay. Uh, okay.
Yep. Correct.
Okay. Okay, please set the timer for 3 minutes. Okay, you can start now.
Okay, we're going to present about the detecting the dominance of influenza virus subtype K in Indonesia based on molecular and epidemiological data. Next. So subtype K becomes the dominant of H3N2 lineage globally in 2025, and the first case that detected in Indonesia was in August 2025. But the transmission dynamic in Indonesia remain unclear. Therefore, we are doing the phylogenetic and epidemiological analysis we used to investigate and introduction and spread. So we begin with the data selection. We are using the genomic data acquisition and curation matching with the epidemiology investigation data, and then we process the analysis from the molecular characterization and mapping, and then phylogenetic reconstruction, molecular clock and phylodynamic, and then the epidemiological analysis. Next.
So this is the result. So as you can see on the left side is the phylogenetic timescale tree. And the box, you can see this the subclade K, and the red dot is the time RCA, or the possible of the entrance of the virus in Indonesia. It's about June 25, and the first cases were reported from Ministry of Health on August 25. So we assume that there's possible 87 days of delay from the introduction of the first case. And then red dot, as you can see, it's introduction, so it's possible the multiple introduction to Indonesia. And the right side you see the glycosylate site and amino acid mutation. Subclade K has a distinct pattern of the molecular characteristic where it's present the mutation of N158G and also all of the glycosylated site. Next. So and this epidemiology analysis, and the left side is the changing. As you can see on September to December, there's increasing of the subclade K in Indonesia. It's coincident with the genetic diversity increasing and also the increasing of the case of the influenza from Aile and Sari Sentinel. And for the comorbidity, there is no comorbidity and there is no smokers patients, and the fever and cough is most clinical presentation, and there is no, we don't find any connection or relationship between the molecular characteristic and severity. Next. Yeah, for the conclusion, so this study can be really important because to, let's say, the policy recommendation to integrate genomic sentinel surveillance and also field monitoring. Yeah, I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, you still have like 10 seconds. Is it okay? Okay, we're gonna move to the debate session. You will have 6 minutes to do it. 6 minutes timer. Okay, you can start now.
Okay. Your study don't have the dense enough sampling in each temporal and in each location distribution in Indonesia. So this study doesn't establish that subclade K itself drove the influence increase in Indonesia.
Okay, actually, yeah, for the data, we using the phylogenetic tree, and we are also using the reference, and it's using next trend pipeline. So it's one of the pipeline for the influenza. And during the running the phylogenetic tree, in the next trend pipeline, they put all of the several important clades to make sure the phylogenetic tree robust. So and also we also check because it's using bootstrapping tree, so we do the bootstrapping, and we find the best tree, the most likelihood tree. And also for the phylogenetic time, we also do root to tip scale. That's one of the validate if your model enough or robust or not. So in this model, this is quite robust. It's quite robust. Yeah, and also yeah, I mean beside the sample, it's less for the epidemiology.
Okay, I think that answer do not address my question because yes, you have already stated that your sample is less number for epidemiological study. So practically that It's only 74 cases in Indonesia. It's not representative with Indonesia population. It's a lot. So why?
So basically it's from Sentinel. Sentinel is Aili and Sari. So basically in Indonesia there is, and it's in worldwide, I mean, Aili and Sari is one of the oldest Sentinel and they have regulation related to the sampling. So Aili and Sari, they are sampling the influenza cases and they do the sequencing. So basically all of the sample here, they are represent of Indonesia, even though it's small number.
Okay, for representative, as I said before, that based on the geographical mapping and bar graphing, it's not state the n number in every time distribution on March and until the December. I mean.
Yeah, we mentioned that it's all of this influenza, the sequence is 164. And sample for the genomic is 74 for subclade K.
Yeah, so at the bar graph, you don't mention the n number and it only the percentage. How about if it is 100 percentage? It can be only from 1. I mean, the idea of doing genomic surveillance is you need a minimal criteria to doing this, because the way it is done, the way it is more useful.
Yeah. Actually, it's Sentinel, as I mentioned. So it doesn't represent. I mean, it represents all of Indonesia. So that's why we use the percentage related to that. Yeah. So that's why we do not show the number.
You also have no compare clinical data on another subclade of influenza virus because you have looked for another clinical data if you should compare because it can be rely on only on genomic data.
Okay, so actually epidemiology investigation data including the medical record. So it's including in there.
I mean, for another subclade of influenza, you have no other clinical data on that. And you only show that there are mutation on N158D. And this mutation, based on literature, is no association to severity. And how about if there is another mutation in another subclade that maybe there's mutation like E627 that you have no compared to another clinical data. So you don't know about that.
So we have compared with the other studies that using to compare molecular characteristic and severity. So it's quite similar because there is no it's the symptom is milder. Yeah, the interesting from our studies because influenza vaccine is quite. I mean, it's important, let's say, in the Western country or let's say Europe, American, but in Indonesia, all of our patients, all of the cases subclade K, they do not registered in the influenza vaccine, and it's not popular, right, in Indonesia.
Okay, so for the genomic surveillance, it's important for preparedness. So, but the mutation itself is an evolutionary process surveillance, right? It can improve early detection, but it cannot prevent the viral evolution itself. So it's different concept with your argument, I think.
Basically, the argument of this is this: if we can combine, we can prevent that. So that's why we do the integrating molecular and let's say epidemiology investigation like that.
Okay, time's up for this first round. We're gonna take a quick 1 minute break, but no discussion with your opponent. You can discuss it with your teammate. Okay, 1 minute timer. Okay, break's over. We're gonna move to our next presentation by Team 04. Is this your slide, correct? Do you wanna check it first? Okay. You timer for 3 minutes. Okay, you can start now.
Okay, so maternal undernutrition remains a major challenge in low and middle income countries. It contributes to poor fetal growth and adverse birth outcomes. To address this, the World Health Organization recommends balanced energy protein supplementation or BEP for undernourished pregnant women. While previous studies have shown that BEP supplementation improves maternal and neonatal birth outcomes, there is an important question remains unclear. That is, does timing of supplementation influence infant anthropometric outcomes? Next, to answer this question, we conducted systematic review and meta-analysis of randomized control trial evaluating BEP on preconception, pregnancy, and also postpartum period. We searched PubMed, Scopus, and Cochrane. Next, we found 29 articles from 21 RCT conducted in low and middle income countries and were included. So the studies were grouped according when supplementation was initiated. It is before conception, during early pregnancy, during late pregnancy, or during postpartum period. Next, overall, BEP supplementation improved infant anthropometric, but the magnitude of the benefits may be differ according to timing. For birth length, supplementation initiated at preconception, resulting in greater improvement than initiating in third trimester. For length for SZ score, both preconception and second trimester BEP supplementation produce greater improvement than postnatal supplementation. For birth weight, larger effects were observed among studies initiating supplementation during third trimester. Next, we suggest different anthropometric outcomes that respond to different window of nutrition intervention. Earlier supplementation appears more beneficial for length and length for HZ score, whereas later supplementation may have greater effects on birth weight. In conclusion, our result highlights the question is not only whether BEP supplementation works, but also when it should be provided. And understanding the timing of supplementation may help improve future maternal nutrition program and maximize the benefit for the neonatal. Thank you.
You still have 20 seconds, is it okay? Okay. Moving on to the debate session, you have 6 minutes to do the debate. You have 30 seconds to ask and 1 minute to answer. 6 minutes timer. Okay, you can start now.
Yeah, thank you for the presentation. I'm going to ask about the prospect registration. Do you have any registration for the systematic review? Yeah, okay. And then I also curious about the time selection for your article. Why you are choosing this selection of criteria? I mean, the time selection.
Yeah, we searched the article from the beginning until December 2024. That's the time when we have screened all the articles and beginning to write our manuscript. Yeah, so yeah, from the beginning until December 2024. Yeah, because we want to know how it is BEP supplementation in the implementation in low and middle income countries from the very beginning of implementation until now. Yeah.
And what about the PICO? Do you have any elaboration for the PICO?
Yes, actually we have.
Yeah, for PICO for population, we include pregnant women in low and middle income countries. For the intervention, we use BEP supplementation, balanced energy supplementation. And for the comparator is standard routine or routine care that maybe government have done for pregnant women. And for the outcomes, we try to observe in birth weight, birth length, and length for HZ score.
Then we're doing a systematic review. We have tools for ROB. Do you have any tools, and how many people they are involved to be the risk of bias assessor?
Yeah, of course, we have mentioned that on our presentation, but we are the two reviewers that review independently about all articles that we are included. We use ROB2. It's a Cochrane. ROB2 for bias assessment. So we discussed some conflict that we found in some articles, and yeah, all of the articles have been assessed by those ROB tools.
What happens if both of you have conflicting related to the paper?
We discuss this because ROB have 5 domains. We discuss where actually the domain that we have some same argument, same understand about that. So we discuss that, and then we after we have discussion, we decide how whether this article has low risk or some concern like that. So.
Do you think that it will stimulate kind of bias because it's only assessed by 2 people, not only expert involved in the study?
So the risk of assessment bias ROB2 tool is not used to exclude or include the study, right? It's just imply
Actually, the ROB is to assess which is this article are high quality or not. So that's why we need to doing this assessment because it's to minimize the publication bias and the yes. So that's why all that we article that included in our meta-analysis, its majority is low risk of bias. So that's why we independently assess because yeah. Actually, there is a one. It is our supervisor. They will give us the. I mean.
So do you mean that you do not think to need include anybody else from all of your team to clarify on the to standardize about your result of your bias? Yeah.
No need. Actually, for the Prisma statement, doing the risk of bias ROB, it's independently of the writer, and we need only to consult that into the other.
Okay. Yeah. I want to ask related to the statistical analysis. So yeah, in the bird length, I saw there is the TM3. The range of the TM3 is the span from below 0. It's below 0 and it's quite it's quite long. The confidence interval, I think. So I think it's implied maybe there is some bias related to that, or maybe reverse effect related to that.
Okay,
and
stop.
also
Stop. Your turn.
Yeah, so for the third trimester length for SD score, right? However, despite you found that, we also found that the difference between the groups in third trimester and preconception is actually significantly different. Just looking by the slope of the graph, and it implies that from the preconception, if we begin the supplementation from the preconception, it can greater improvement for LNG score. Yeah, so we just look for the difference.
Okay, actually time is up. And is this the final scoring? So you actually have a tie. So we're gonna have to do a tiebreaker. I'm gonna explain you the rules for the tiebreaker. We have a total of 4 minutes, but we're gonna divide it to 2 minutes to team 119 to attack team 4, and the other 2 minutes to team 4 to attack team 119. So do you understand? Okay, 2 minutes and 2 minutes. Okay. Okay, maybe like 2 minutes. Is it? Yeah. Yeah. Can you make sure you use your mic?
check, check. Seriously.
For this match, for this tiebreaker, I will give my mic for you so you can just. Okay, okay. Okay, you have 1 minute to discuss it with your teammate, your strategy, or whatsoever. So, can you put the timer for 1 minute break? Okay, break's over. So we're actually gonna have to toss a coin again to see who attacks first and who defends first. Sorry. Okay, hat or tail? Hat. It's a hat, so you can attack first and you can defend. 2 minutes, yeah. Can you set the timer for 2 minutes? Okay.
So actually, this is a basic question. The first thing one is why are you using Ryan to screening your articles, and the second one is why you didn't do meta-analysis for the study.
Okay, we actually conducting the meta-analysis study. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, for why using the Ryan, actually Ryan is open web, so we can open it in long distance. So that's why we're using that. It's just a simple answer.
That's what the basic question. So it just make it easier.
Yeah.
Screen this article. Okay, thank you.
Do you validate that? Do you validate from Ryan, the result from Ryan? Do you?
No, from data result, the result data from the Ryan, actually it's only the total article that included on screening from the title screening, and we have already read all the full paper that included. So, just.
Yeah. Related to I want to go back to analytic statistics. So I saw there is two variable. It's bird length and LAZ, right? So yeah. So in range, why it's there are, especially in it's my last question is related to TM3 and also a postnatal. There is the range of the mean difference is also including below 0. I mean, I suppose there is a study maybe, or several study that maybe that give that output. So why don't you exclude the several study that maybe that possible give that bias related to that?
Okay. So the question is for the last outcome. Is it correct? The third trimester 3. Actually, for the postnatal, in the last outcome, it's underslope.
No. It's the range of the mean difference.
Okay.
The range, there is the. You can use so the slide or not.
Actually, the time's up already.
Okay.
So maybe we're gonna move to the next 2 minutes, which team 4 is gonna attack, and team 190 is gonna defend.
Okay. Test. Yeah.
Check.
Okay, 2 minutes timer. Okay, you can start now.
So I think the data is not equally distributed across all the sites. And you mentioned it is for Indonesia, right? But it's mainly in East Java. Okay, so it's not possible to investigate the emergence.
This is total cases, actually. Sorry.
It's not possible to investigate the emergence and spread like what in your objective, because the data is not equally distributed.
Sorry, but this total cases, this is total sample. I mean, total sample of the genomic. Yeah, so this one.
Yeah, it's still that it's not possible to investigate the emergence and spread because of the data you're using is so small.
No, actually, yeah, to even investigate the emergence, so there is a process that named molecular clock, so that we use in the study. So before do the molecular clock, we do the test of the model. Yeah. So I mean, if it's not that satisfied, we cannot proceed to the phylogenetic tree time scale. So yeah.
I mean, if you put the virus in a certain location, it will naturally spread. Like so, that's not going possible to what you did here. And for the emergence, you said the subclade key is new emergence in about June, right? But I also looked that J point 1.2 is also emerged. So what's
No. Actually, G2 is the emerge from 2022.
That's not what you show in your graph.
No,
in your bar graph.
the our graph, our study, it's focused on the subclade case, so that's why we do not show the other clade like that.
Okay, based on your conclusion, you want to make the preparedness in the future, right? So, but based on the what we have been read, there is no conclusion in molecular severity based on your study. Yes. So previously we already asked you that you only show the graph for the subclade type only on the severity, but you don't compare with the other subclade, so it cannot be.
Yeah, I mean, so basically, our study focus on subclade K, and also the epidemiology data is based on the epidemiology investigation. So why is important, because it's the Indonesia does not implement the vaccine influenza, so and there is no severity on it. So I think it's I think that's what is important from the related to that.
Time's up for the tiebreaker, and we have the final score. So team 4 has a total score of 14, and team 119 has a total score of 13. Thank you. Now we're gonna hear the feedbacks from the judges.
Yeah, thank you for the D4. I think both team performance are equally well. Yeah, and personally, myself, I think the study from the D119 is quite. For me, it's because last year I suffered from flu A in November. So when I saw your study, it must be subclade. I must be suffer from subclade. Okay, but your study is not the reason you lost today, and I think you both of you perform quite equally well, and be it in attacking or defending. And I think for the D4, you won by 1 margin point. I think you're lucky today. Yeah, you're lucky today, and I congrats the D4, and good luck for the next round. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, judges, and congratulations again to Team 4. Yeah, you can take a break now. There's actually one more. Okay, we're gonna move on to our next match. We have Team 95. Where's Team 95? Okay, you can see it on my left side. And Team 84. Okay, you can see it on my right side. Okay, everyone, my name is Gwen and I will be your referee for your match right now. And I will explain to you the rules again, that you have 2 rounds. Each round has 2 sessions, a presentation and a debate. For the presentation, you will have 3 minutes and the debate will last for 6 minutes with 30 seconds to ask the question and then 1 minute to answer it. And then before we get to the next round, we're going to take a quick 1 minute break. Okay, you understand the rules? Okay, I'm going to toss the coin to see who goes first.
Sometimes the top.
Which one is tail and head?
I'm going to toss it first and then I'm going to ask.
Oh, okay. A novel method. Novelty. Novelty.
Did you see the...
Yes, I did see it.
Oh, okay. Okay, head or tail?
Head.
It's head. Okay, you can choose whether you want to go first or second. Yeah, okay, so Team 84 is going to present first. Is this your slide, correct?
Yes.
You want to check it first?
Next slide, please. Yes. Yeah, only this set.
Okay, so you will have 3 minutes. Timer. Okay, you can start now.
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Haryanto and my colleague Romi. Today we'll present emergence of colistin resistance and heteroresistance in Acinetobacter baumannii, a sequential time kill and molecular characterization study. Next. So colistin and polymyxin B is the polymyxin class antibiotic that has mechanism binding to lipid A of lipopolysaccharide, causing stellitis, and this antibiotic used as a last resort drug or last option to overcome infection caused by multi-drug resistant gram-negative bacteria. But since 2000s, the first clinical isolate of colistin-resistant A. baumannii was reported, and imagine that we will pass the era before penicillin was found. Next. So the objective of our studies are to evaluate the bactericidal activity of colistin and polymyxin B and their roles in the emergence of resistance, including heteroresistant and adaptive resistant, and to characterize genetic alteration associated with this resistance. So we use the clinical isolates provided from the hospital, susceptible and resistant one, isolated from the same patient that get 8 days treatment of colistin, and we compare, after we want to prove what is the difference between these 2 strains, and then we do the sequential time kill. Next. We found that this clinical isolate has the difference in PMRB gene mutation in resistant strain, showing this resistant strain has a resistance facilitated by the LPS modification as the mechanism activity of the antibiotic. Next. And in the in vitro study, after we challenged it with the several concentration of the antibiotic, we found that the susceptible one could develop to step-by-step resistance under colistin pressure, but not in polymyxin B. And col-R could regrow until 16 MIC, showing high level of resistance, but low adaptation in polymyxin B. And we found there is an overexpression of the LPXC gene in this strain, and then we want to prove if there is a heteroresistance in this strain because there is a reference about that, and we found there is a subpopulation was hiding in this strain, and we found that this subpopulation was exists before this strain contact with antibiotic, and this subpopulation has an overexpression in PMRBC and LPXC, showing the LPS modification and loss of LPS, showing the high level of resistance compared to the other strain. Next. So, ebomani adapts rapidly under colistin selective pressure in vitro, but minimal adaptation to polymyxin B. And this high-level resistance it's a dual-stage process starting from the LPS modification and could develop to the loss of LPS and could lead to high polymyxin resistance. So, what is the implication of this study? The sequential time kill over a simple approach to discriminate different PD model structure to describe the emergence of resistance, and this PD model could predict and prevent the resistance in the future of this colistin. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Team 84. We're going to move to our debate session. We have 6 minutes to the debate. Okay, 6 minutes timer. Okay.
Okay, thank you. This is a good presentation and research. What I want to ask is, this study used only one pair of isogenic clinical isolate, right? Okay. How generalizable are the findings to other Acinetobacter baumannii strain with different genetic background?
Okay, so thank you for the question. This colistin, as I mentioned in background, is used as a last resort drug. It means that if there is a patient with infection has a multi-drug extensively drug cases, it means that they cannot cure by all the antibiotic that exist as guideline. So colistin should be used, and it should be success the treatment. But if there is not cure, the patient cannot cure after this, in this case, after 8 days treatments, we isolate again the bacteria, and we found there is a colistin resistance. So this is based on case report first, and then we identify what happened with this resistant strain.
So the sample is only one resistant, and then we also can choose another sample with other resistance, so it cannot be generalized in the whole populations.
Actually, the colistin clinical isolate of Acinetobacter baumannii colistin resistance already reported in worldwide, but it's not many. You know that this is a rare case. So since 2000 it's already first reported, and since 2000 the mechanism of resistance was established, and the meta-analysis study was already founded, and we found the mechanism of resistance specifically to the colistin, which is PMRB, C, and LPXA and LPXC. So that's why this is a unique clinical study, because we only found one cases in our hospital, Paris Hospital, and then we we specifically targeted this gene because we already know the mechanism of resistance.
Yeah, but you say that it could be a new strain with the new resistance, and maybe there are also some possibility the additional mutation outside the candidate genes, because you say that it's new, but it's also studied the mechanism.
No, we didn't mention there is a new mutation mechanism. We just confirmed that the mechanism of resistance that we found is same with the previous study from the clinical isolate that was found in another hospital. And the new found that we found there is a heteroresistant. It means there is a subpopulation from this strain, and this is the new one. And only 2 found it in our hospital and another hospital in Spain. And this subpopulation has same mechanism resistance. Even they have 2 mechanisms at the same strain, like loss of LPS and the LPS modification.
Okay, for the loss LPS and LPS modification, I think I also want to highlight your conclusion, because you said that in your conclusion there are the PMR gene mutations can determine, because how can you conclude that the PRMB is the causal mutation without knock gene of the PRMB on this strain?
Yeah, we already established also in our lab that we use the reference strain of Acinetobacter baumannii, and we insert it with the plasmid with PMRB gene, and then we also compare without a strain that knock out the PMRB gene. We already, my professor actually already established it, and this already performed in another lab. So this study is not new, this mechanism resistance. So this is what we try to do is just to prove that the clinical isolate that we found has the same mechanism resistance with another clinical isolate.
Yeah, but also there's maybe because this is the strain that in your hospital, it can be another gene that also possible it's also another gene that the reason mutations or the resistance happen, not the PRMB.
Actually, it already has, as I mentioned before, there's already meta-analysis study that collected from the whole over case report in China, but only the word that used colistin as a last resort drug. Indonesia is not included because we have not used this as antibiotic. So this meta-analysis already performed the whole the mechanism, and they conclude only specific mechanism because these genes only specific to the LPS, and this LPS is specifically the main target of the colistin. So that's why we don't want to know about the, in our study didn't want to know the another mechanism resistance because we only want to develop the PD model.
Okay, so only focus on the PMRB gene, right?
Not, we want to try to develop the PD model. Why we do the Sanger sequencing in this study? Because we want to prove that is it the clinical isolate that we found is same mechanism that the reference mentioned before because of the PMRBC or LPXC mutation. We didn't find LPXC mutation, only PMRB mutation.
Okay, so that's also the reason why you use the RT-qPCR, I think. Yeah, because it's the RT-qPCR is to see the expression change, but I think the expression change cannot be causality or cannot be caused by, we cannot conclude that the expression change caused by the resistance on.
Yeah, because we don't want to prove the mechanism of resistance here. We want to, as our mentioned in our first objective, we want to develop the new assay, like sequential time kill. The sequential time kill actually is developed by our lab, and it could develop to the new PD model, which is this resistance is happened because the adaptive, the hetero-resistance, or they still one single strand or homogeneous population. So this is the main study. The gene expression level that we trying to do here only to know which genes that's expressing because we already know the mechanism of resistance based on this gene by beta-analysis study that we already mentioned before, and we don't want to do the next sequencing.
But I think this.
Okay, now we will take a 1-minute break before we get to the second round.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. We would like to explain about our research, genome-based characterization of carbohydrate active enzyme in a marine Bacillus sp from Pelapis Island, West Kalimantan. Next. Okay, do you know that the marine has many diversity of enzyme than terrestrial? Marine has unique extreme environment than terrestrial. The condition induce the adaptation to produce novel enzyme. There are some C enzymes discovered from marine microorganisms, as you can see in the table. From our previous research, we found the marine Bacillus sp from Pelapis Island, which has potential source, unique and new C enzyme, and also has a promising source of novel C enzyme. And why we choose Pelapis Island? Pelapis Island is an island in West Kalimantan. It has largely unexplored marine habitat, located near marine conservation area and adjacent to human settlement. This combination of natural condition and anthropogenic influence may drive microbial adaptation to produce novel enzyme. So to uncover the genetic potential of this isolate, we took a genome-based approach. Next. Okay, we did from isolate culture until bioinformatic analysis process. We found from taxonomy analysis that our isolate has 94% similarity with Bacillus paramobilis that indicate a new strain, maybe a new species. Based on functional annotation with Bacta, and the genome has almost 5,000 potential genes, and we found 281 C enzyme. And we can define the genome map visualization based on our WGS data. Next. Okay, as the result, on the left side showing that our genome data successfully show the defined genome data distribution of C enzyme genes. From 281 genes, as we can see in the bar plot, the enzyme distribute to different 5 groups. As a result, we successfully diverse GS13 subfamily. We found key enzymes such as alpha amylase, pululanase, and alpha glucosidase. This finding indicates strong start to glucose conversion potential, and the genomic data confirm our previous observation of amylolytic activity. Next. Okay, for the conclusion, marine Bacillus sp from Pelapis Island is a potential Okay. Okay, for the conclusion, marine Bacillus sp from Pelapis Island is a potential source of novel C enzyme for start bioconversion. And for the next research, we will move to enzyme characterization of the isolate. Thank you.
Okay, as you claim in your conclusion that has a potential activity as a start to glucose conversion, but we found that in your results that the highest one is the glycosyl transferases, the enzyme that you found is the glycosyl transferases, right? But as the glycosid hydrolysis is lower than GT. But this actually, when you claim this activity, it should be the GH, this activity is from the glycosyl hydrolysis, but it's lower than GT. How are you to prove your activity?
Okay, thank you, maybe for the thank you so much for the questions. I also want to address that this GT and GH is a different family. So glucosyl hydrolysis is the enzyme that contribute to the starch degradations. That's what our previous phenotype amylolytic activity was observed. But the glycosyl transferase is for starch synthesis. So if our previous research shows that activity is for starch degradation, so we only see the GH, but not the GT, because we didn't test the starch synthesis. And why we choose why the GT is more observed in the species, because the complexity of starch synthesis, because starch synthesis in the molecule is for the structure, glycogen, and even more complex than starch hydrolysis. The starch hydrolysis is for the long starch and then degrade to the glucose or oligosaccharide that more simply than to synthesize. That's why the GT is more dense or more abundant in the organism.
So, but you also prove that this compound, this percentage contents is quite higher enough to have this activity, and did you do the comparison study to the another bacillus species, another bacillus species, to confirm that this is quite enough, the concentration to have this activity compared to the standard one?
Okay, so maybe for the make to clear, so we only focus on starch hydrolysis, so we also focus on the glycosyl hydrolysis. And is it really enough those enzyme can degrade the starch hydrolysis? Only one enzyme is enough for starch hydrolysis, but we saw in the activity for the preface it's highest isolate that has the amylolytic activity. So we thought that maybe there are some combination in glycosyl hydrolysis that make the activity is more higher. That's why we choose that. For the GH, there are also many enzymes, and if we compare to other bacillus, for the next step, maybe some bacillus reference, it could be more enzyme or not. But the point is, this enzyme is have the great activity or not about the amount of the enzyme, how much, but how effective of the enzyme. I mean, if it's less enzyme, but this has a robust activity, it's more important than the number of the GH compared to other bacillus.
Yeah, that's the problem. You mentioned in your conclusion that they have the strong conversion potential, but this study is only the genome study. You didn't do the prove the activity gene profile compared to the established or the standard lab strain. That's already.
Yes, that's true. That's why in the last slide we saw the conclusions, the strong potential. Potentials mean not have been validated by our future research. Our future research in the next year, this year or next year, is focused on the experimental validation. So from the genomic, the genes data, we say that okay, that's really a nice gene, nice enzyme, because we also compare the sequence with the database, and so that maybe this is the possibility unique or novel enzyme. That's why we have to validate with the experiment data in the next. Maybe first we maybe use the cloning expression, and then we have the activity really specific for that enzyme, and we can compare, oh, that's really a new enzyme with highest activity.
Yeah, that's why the strong, this statement is really subjective if you not prove it with the activity study.
But I can comment, the strong, so it's not about, the statement is based on the genomic characterization and compared to the database. So Genzyme is a huge database. We almost have different families, and if each family has already 1,000 and 100 and 1,000 database. So from that sequence, we compare to the database, and we will find that this has a great domain, and even the modifications of the gene can make it higher activity. Like some amylase have a addition domain, carbohydrate binding modules that make the activity more higher than other enzyme. So that's why from this also we can see in the GH family, also there are carbohydrate binding modules. Some carbohydrate binding module that we analyze is have a gene cluster with the glycoside hydrolysis. So if we can prove that this gene cluster make the highest activity, so we can conclude that's new novel.
Okay, about the assembly method, actually we have yet to find the assembly method that's used in your poster. I don't know if you have published it elsewhere, but actually not a different assembly method will require, will expect different results for the assembly method. So what assembly method do you choose, and why do you choose the specific assembly method to address this study specifically?
Yes, we choose for the whole genome sequencing. The one is Illumina. Illumina is a short-read sequencing, and from that sequencing, we saw that the quality check and also the assembly is almost complete the genome. And also, there are also limitations with this sequence, because the limitation should be added. I mean, the best one is with get the new one with the PACBio. But if we're really reliable with this data, of course we're reliable, because the almost 95% data Busco analysis say that the genome almost complete. Not really, we didn't say it whole genome, but it's almost complete, and it can compare to the similarity with other bacillus.
Okay, that's it for our match. We're finished. see from the score that team 95 has a score of 17 and team 84 has a score of 16. So congratulations to team 95. And now we're gonna hear the feedback from one of the judges.
Well, actually, none from me. It was a very, very warmed up and insightful, actually. I learned a lot from like 20 minutes of your discussions. It is very close. Actually, we almost had a tiebreaker, but then you earned point lastly with your last comment, so congrats on that. And for you guys who are going to do more matches, I think both of you are going to do more matches, no? Oh, I see. I see. So yeah, but everyone wins. Yeah, you guys must be gaining a lot of things from the last 4 days. But yeah, all in all, I think you have gained the gist of doing debate. Like I saw that you already knew how to attack, how to not to just clarify things, but also give your opinion and give your thoughts about it and how to defend your study. Yeah, so congratulations for both of you, both of the teams, 4 of you actually. Terima kasih Kak Gwen.
Okay, thank you, judges, and congratulations again to the winner of this match. Okay, now maybe you can take a break before your next